panel is going to look at law enforcement and the techniques that they have used to enforce the distracted driving laws here in the state. We're going to start with Chuck Deweese, the Assistant Commissioner for the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee.
Jennifer. Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. I too would like to thank our gracious hosts, the Westchester Medical Center, AT&T, Ben Lieberman from Dorks, and all of you for being here today, especially our NHTSA folks, Tom Luizzo and his staff for being here, our partner in traffic safety, my partner Lieutenant Fouché from the State Police, and also our distinguished guests who are with us today. Also, a special thanks to Secretary Fox and to the Governor. Anything that you do in the world of traffic safety requires leadership, and we're fortunate to have leaders at the national level and at the state level who understand the epidemic of distracted driving. And we're going to get into a few of the things that the Governor and the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee are doing in the world of distracted driving. But I found this slide and I thought it was kind of interesting because it really does summarize where we are today with cell phones. Kids younger and younger are now getting iPhones. I have an 11-year-old who wants an iPhone, and she's not getting one if she's watching online, but she does have an iPod, and it's with her at all 24/7. You know, when is dinner from her bedroom, you know, downstairs to the kitchen? Can I go here, wherever? It's a part of it's a societal change of how they communicate. And I guess maybe I'm getting older, but I need to understand that this is how they communicate. But I think if we look at Albert Einstein, I fear the day that technology will surpass our human interaction, the world will have a generation of idiots. You know what? I think we're there. I think we are there already. So I think he's a little bit smarter than we give him credit for. This slide I found on the internet as well. How did you feel when you misplaced your phone? I mean, you take away your phone from your child as a form of discipline, and they almost go into shock. 73% were panicked, 14% felt desperate, 7% were sick, and only 6% felt relieved. You know, you think about taking somebody's phone away. My niece had a concussion last week from lacrosse, and my brother said he took his daughter's phone away because he didn't want the lights and the attention on the phone. And I was just thinking to myself, she must be going into, you know, just having fits because she didn't have her phone. I think we do feel panicked and a little bit desperate when we don't have our phone. So let's talk about behavioral change. We've done a lot of good things nationally at the state level. Seatbelt usage rates up to 91% in New York. It used to be at a minimum of 30%. And we've done a lot over a long period of time. This is not going to change today because we're having a summit. It's going to take over 30 years to probably change this problem. So I want to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the state of New York. And it's because of a summit just like this one that I went to about 4 years ago that Secretary LaHood did in Washington, D.C. And I came back from one of the breaks, and people always say, our summit's good, our conference is good to go to because of networking, and I'll tell you why they are. Because much of what we're doing in New York State right now is because of the summit that I attended in Washington, D.C. Came back from a break, all the chairs were filled except for the front row where the victims' families were supposed to be sitting. I sat down next to JC, who was sitting there, JC Good, who's our victim advocate speaker, and during break, introduced myself and we began a conversation. And what that conversation led to is what we're doing in New York. What we realized in New York is that we needed to have somebody go out and speak to high school students and to law enforcement and to everybody about the dangers of distracted driving. I can go out, Lieutenant can go out and talk to people, but you really need the people who have been affected by distracted driving to go out and speak. Okay? So we said, let's get JC to go around and start talking to some kids. And we got the grant through the National Safety Council, and we weren't getting a lot of traction. So what did we do? We tried to market it a little bit. So we went to our law enforcement partners, to the state police, to local police, and said, we've got this speaker who can come out and speak. We went to the traffic safety boards, to principal associations, SAD chapters, and we even put it on our website. Okay, and we have a little bio that JC has, a little introduction, who she is, a press release, and what happened was, we put this on the website, and there's a rotating clip that comes up of JC speaking, and people started calling us. And we started this grant program where JC will go in and speak to high school kids. And in 2012, when we started it, the counties were visited by JC, and she spoke to over 15,000 students in 1 year across the state. We focused on some of the larger counties. The second year, we reached over 16,000 students, which was great. We started going into some of the smaller counties. And as my partner with state police, the zip codes that are EIEIO. JC, I think, has over 460,000 miles on her little car because all she does is travel the state for us and talking to students. And she has gained an immense number of teenage friend and followers, and she's become almost a rock star in New York State. High school student population reached over 11,000 as of March of 2014. What happens is the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee gives a grant to the National Safety Council, which in turn funds JC speaking. And the grant starts in October of a year. Well, the first year took us the whole year to get to all of our appearances. By like October 15th. So you can see that she's having an impact. So there's thousands and thousands of people that we're reaching. And the National Safety Council asks questions to some of the students and the chaperones after she speaks. And prior to this presentation, have you used your cell phone while driving? You can see the percentage, 81% said that they did. When you see JC speak, or any of our victim advocates speak, after the presentation, will you continue? 100% said no. Now, will that last? Will it last past that night? Will it last past that week? Could we go back to these schools once a week and give the same presentation? Yeah. But as of that day, they said they will never use their phone again. And if you meet some of these people that follow JC on Facebook, you'll know that they're continuing to put their phone in the trunk or in the glove box while they're driving. We love this picture. This is a picture of two of the students at one of JC's presentations. You see this. A picture's worth 1,000 words. When you can hold the attention of 16 and 17-year-olds for an hour and see tears running down their eyes, you know you're having an impact. We hope it lasts. Some quotes. She is a beautiful person inside and out. I can promise I will never use my phone while driving. Someone else said it's all dangerous, but I'm impacted. I'm going to put my phone in the trunk when I get in the car. And then our law enforcement, very touching and emotional. What a great presentation. Nothing else needed to be said. Okay, so it was working so well, we decided to branch this out a little bit. You know what victim impact panels are for alcohol-impaired crashes? Well, in Warren County, the district attorney up there, Kate Hogan, had a friend who was killed in a distracted driving crash. And what she wanted to do was to have victim impact panels with distracted driving. So if you got a cell phone ticket for texting or using your cell phone while driving, they mandated you to, in order to get a reduction to your sentence, to come to a victim impact panel. You get 5 points for a violation now in New York State. That's a lot of points. And judges don't really like to assess 5 full points. So here's an out for the judge. Come sit through a victim impact panel and we'll reduce your points in your violation. So over 4,000 people have been reached. The Warren County saw an increase in distracted driving crashes and tickets. It was created in the fall of 2011, and it's mandatory, like I said, for a reduction. And there's 40 to 50 offenders appearing per month in Warren County. $25 fee for participants. And JC now, like I said, she's become a rock star. She's not only appearing on our grants, she's now speaking at these victim impact panels in Warren County. What we're seeing up there, the number of distracted driving tickets is stable. I guess that's a good thing. It's not going up. Warren County, as you know, Lake George region has an influx of people through the summer, so it's kind of hard to judge how well it's working. But the fact that the tickets are not going up is good. The referrals that are coming in are remaining consistent, and now it's expanding to a sister county in Washington County. So we're hoping to, through the District Attorneys Association, to kind of expand this throughout the entire state. This was from Will Valenza. He's the chief up there. The interesting thing was noting defendants' reactions during attendance. Many offenders come to the panel with an attitude that they don't belong there and it's just a waste of everyone's time. But after listening to victims like JC, many people approach us after and let us know they have a completely different opinion about distracted driving. And we see this throughout the state. They're doing it in Saratoga County too with traffic safety presentations. And a lot of these people come to these events. And they're really impacted after they listen to the victim advocates. Again, it was working so well. Let's say, how can we branch out a little further? So we started with judicial liaisons and getting out to the magistrates. There are over 2,500 town and village justices in New York State. So we said, let's get to the justices. They are the ones who are reducing the fines, the penalties. Let's show them what a victim advocate looks like, and maybe they won't reduce the sentences and plea as much when they see this. So we brought them, our victim advocates, in front of the judges. The District Attorneys Association, they have an annual conference we're trying to get on their agenda for this summer. Talk to the DAs. We're also talking to driver educators. One thing that we're trying in New York, driver education, as you know, maybe don't know, there was a study done in the 70s in DeKalb, Georgia, that said that driver education is not effective. We're trying to change that. The modules and the curriculums that are being taught throughout New York and throughout the country are vary. So we're taking a modular approach to creating a new driver education curriculum. We're taking one module at a time. So we're doing speed, alcohol. We just finished, the first one we did was distracted driving. We brought experts in from around the country on distracted driving, creating a module that kids will like. Not a video from 1960, not lecturing to kids. You putting them on simulators, doing things and exercises that kids want to do. Technology, phones. So we're trying to make it, 21st century education. Hopefully we're going to be able to test that, put sensors on cars to see that these kids are driving safer after they take this new curriculum. We've partnered with an organization called the Ford Driving Skills for Life. We've applied for and received multiple grants throughout the past 3 years where we bring kids together and do different traffic safety events. It's not always distracted driving. We try to throw in some seatbelt usage as well into that and speed, but distraction is a big part of these grants. We applied for and received a grant a couple years ago down at Mepham High School, and the state police helped us out. We let the kids drive through cones while they were texting, and a trooper was banging on the window. So we try to simulate distracted driving and show them how they can't drive through cones when they're being distracted. We had our very first annual Teen Driver Summit this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, up in Lake George, New York. We had 60 high school students and 30 chaperones. They were asked to come up and develop their own messaging. Kids always say, don't tell us what to do. Let us tell our teens what to do. Let us give the message to our teens. They don't listen to adults. But if you let them develop their own messaging and then go back to their schools and talk to their student population, we think that they can have a bigger impact. So we had those 60 kids. We're going to reach out to them in a couple months and see what they did back at their schools. Teens talking to teens. The No Empty Chair campaign, our state police liaison at the office created this. If you can see that picture, the theme is graduation and a gown that's there without the student. Let's have no empty chairs at high school graduation. And it's a no texting, no drinking and driving. It's kind of a full traffic safety message. But we're bringing this campaign out to high schools. It's on our website. There's a PowerPoint presentation, so any administrator, anybody, any educator can pick it up, show the PowerPoint to students. So we want no empty chair. These posters are being hung throughout high schools in New York. Distracted driving billboards. Tom had mentioned earlier that April was Distracted Driving Awareness Month. We put some billboards out. These are out throughout the state. Smartphone, dumb choice. And we're also running some of the NHTSA ads on our television and radio. Operation Hang Up, we'll start talking a little bit more about enforcement now, but New York has some great laws. 5 points, like I mentioned. It's now if you use cell phone texting laws for drivers with a probationary license or a DJ, those laws took effect in July, and a conviction will result in a mandatory 60-day driver license or permit suspension. If you get caught a second time within a 6-month period, a revocation of it 6 months if you're on a probationary license, or a revocation of 60 days for a DJ or MJ, with MJ is the motorcycle junior license. The fines all increased. So if you are a repeat offender, you will see increased fines. And then those of you who drive the roads, you see that the governor last summer put up over 298 "it can wait" signs on the thruway. It's a reminder to people, don't text and drive. It can wait. Stop until you pull over. So hopefully those signs are making a difference. In the budget bill this year, the governor increased laws again, like Karen Ray said. Drivers under age 21 convicted of cell phone or texting while driving will have their license suspended out for 120 days for a first offense, and a second offense, you lose your license for a full year. Pretty strict laws in New York. Okay, here's where I'm about ready to turn it over to Phil to talk about the enforcement. The Governor's Traffic Safety Committee annually gives out over 200 grants to law enforcement, to the state police and local police, to do traffic enforcement on our highways. Speed, impairment, distracted driving, aggressive driving, and $2.6 million. The distracted driving grant that the state police got was $415,000 to do enforcement, and Phil's going to now talk to you a little bit about what he did with the money we gave him. Hopefully it was good things. So thank you very much.